Well, here's a dealer with some different color. I was actually here for some Fendts. Look at this New Holland. You know, these things sell dirt cheap. I've seen these on the internet, literally priced like a T8 390 at $125,000. Same price as John Deere, and you buy them new and they're worth nothing in about 2 years. Interesting how they sculpt everything. Front ends are kind of just a crude, simple spiker front end. Spicer, not even made by themselves. And I can see why they're cheap. Here's the engines and everything. It looks like they got some stops here. Some stops that whack into the poly panels. They just, I don't know, there's nothing about these New Hollands that excites me. Engine's separated there from the cabaways. I don't know, these tractors, there's a reason they don't have much for resale. They just, something about it's kind of chintzy looking. And here's another one that's the famous Infinite TW series. These were lucky if they ran 2,500 hours for the rods coming through the block. They were kind of unique for their day. This was supposed to be about a 4840 or 4850. Supposed to be. I guess they probably had some fair power, but oh Lord, these were not a good tractor. These things were really, really poor. Ford did not know what the term ergonomics even was. 17-mile long hood. Wow, yeah. I would not have been in favor of purchasing this.
Old.
Yeah, they did have some sort of snap ring there on the PTO shafts. It must have been reversible or interchangeable to 540. I guess you could say that'd be a good idea. He says it stinks. Yes, it does stink overall. Figuratively and literally.
Dad has all
These Aggos weren't that bad of a tractor for the time. There's a white case. That's a JI Case Corporation tractor.
So you want to go in
Yep, another failure. Oh, they were fairly tough. They just lacked a lot of comfort.
Wait there. Wait.
Yeah, towards the back a lot. You sure got a lot of Gleaners here. This one here is a S67, and I think this is a newer model, newer version. And there's some interesting things about these, and there's some things that are absolutely just terrible. First thing I noticed, obviously, is the feeder house sits off the one side. Here's center line. Feeder house hangs way off to one side. And it is just about a mile long. Because it goes all the way up the side to the rotor that sits in there sideways. It's a short coupled design. Hydraulics are down there on the side on these Gleaners, but first thing I'm kind of noticing is how they lack having an ability to access everything inside of them here. Sure, I assume this comes up. This is a machine that I'm not overly familiar with. And I'm not so sure that I want to be familiar with. Oh, good God, mother in hell. Look at all this stuff. I'm not even totally sure, you know, like I say, his Gleaners are so far out of my realm, but got a set of gears back here, the tip of my finger, that's some sort of a drive for the unload. The tank comes over, comes out here, and you got this rotating joint. I'm not sure, I know the old ones used to have like these balls that you fed in, but see there's grease circs all the way around that thing. I guess it'd be easier to replace laying down here, but I never liked how those come up at an angle. It was just a good way to get hit. There's a cylinder that runs it. I don't know, I can see a couple good things about a Gleaner, but damn. I don't know if I could bring myself to use one or not. Interesting, I'm ducked up underneath the rear end here. You got like this little expeller way up here. And all stuck down here through this spreader And then on the other side, right next to it, you have a chopper. So apparently the straw comes off the rotor and gets ducted out here, and then the chaff comes out and gets out here. What a weird setup. Oh, I can definitely see that there are a combine that's out there that's had kind of a following behind it for years, but like I said, I don't have a clue how to work on one, and I don't think there's much for resale, so I just don't know what my future would ever be. I don't think it's ever going to involve owning one of these. Saw these before. Ogden rake. Interesting. The arm is on the outside of the raking wheels, which is a good idea because then your heavy residue is not trailing against your wheel frames. It's trailing on the outer edge of it. Now that's a wrapped spring there, and it's a solid bar. Well, that thing is built hell for stout. A lot of iron, that puppy. Just I don't like those individual spring-loaded wheels, even though these are fairly heavy. I'm not wild about those because they tend not to have as much, you can't put as much down pressure on them. But, and this, I don't like these kickers. That's going to limit if you have duals on. Now, being able to turn around, that's going to definitely limit your ability to turn. But yeah, it's a good idea. It's a well-built rake. Heavy. There's a lot of stuff down here, just a lot, tons of it. Gleaner corn head. I think these are offset. Now those are actually good. They put little edges on their plates, and it keeps the corn in there. That's a good idea. There's a white planter. Those were a Bauer toolbar. Basically the same thing as a John Deere 1780. No matter what you had for a planter configuration, those early Bauer bars, they had some wheel bearing update kits for them, but these things were in individual cylinders. Yeah, this is a little different than John Deere. I think the John Deere might have rephase cylinders, but anyway, them cylinders are individual, and those wheels, you get in the mud hole, they'll suck about straight down. They're not great. Here's the white toolbar. It clamps onto the Bauer toolbar. There's a Fendt that's got some unusual colors. It's a purple Fendt. That is an option. It's an 800 series. But damn, that's an odd color, that's for sure. The gray and everything's the same as pretty much like the Challenger, but the purple paint is quite unusual to say the least. This one looks like a customer's. It's got Mountain Dew balls and everything in there. And here's what I was actually here for, is these Fendts. They're supposed to have a 1050, but my year got taken to their fair, or it was in the shop, and it's the weekend. But these Fendts, this is a 933, which I believe would be about a 8370 John Deere, somewhere in that area. But it's the Fendts do have the front 3-point hitch, and boom, PTO. You could push another mower up front. I'm noticing that these Fendts all smell like hog crap, so I'm wondering if a lot of guys up in this part of the area, or upper northern Iowa here, they're apparently using these for hog manure applications. But this one's been sitting out a while, and that's that natural green, or whatever it's called, their colors, their famous red wheels. And it's definitely getting some paint fade to it. Not a bad looking color, not terrible. The red wheels were quite famous, but they're definitely getting some fade to them. I don't know how long these have been out here, but you know, this particular one, I mean, look at the corrosion here and here, and I don't know if that's just because it's thin, whatever coating they're putting on these, or if that's just this particular tractor. But again, these do smell like hog shit, so I'm just kind of betting that these are some heavily abused tractors. There's a brand new Gleaner head that looks like a draper. It's gonna have a belt in it, obviously. Apparently they shipped these without the belt. It's interesting. Not your normal reel, that's for damn sure. And there's a couple of Massey Fergusons there and there. It's one thing that Agco drives me nuts. You know, you had the old orange Agco tractors years ago, and then they got their Fendt, their classic line, and you got the Challenger split offs, and you know, they've swallowed up 10,000 different brands. And honestly, I wish they would just paint them all orange and just call them all Aggos and put one line out across all dealers. But hey, you know what? I don't run the company. But seems to me like it would simplify things.